longevity lifestyle designers. This is Gavin here with secretsoflongevity.com. You may have heard or been hearing about an herb that a lot of people are using in drinks as a supplement in a capsule form or taking in some form, and it is called Gynostemma. It's also known as jiaogulan or jiaogulan. I'm not 100% sure on the exact pronunciation, but that's the Chinese pronunciation. Then it's also traditionally called miracle grass. This is a very affordable green leaf that can be made into a tea very easily, much like green tea. And the research over the last 30 years has shown that it's one of the most powerful adaptogens at our disposal. So the origin of this herb obviously comes from China, and it was noticed back in the 60s that as they were doing some research on longevity around China, that there was this one province with, and more specifically one region in this province, where there was a lot of people living to be centenarians, living to 90 plus years, even past 100. And one of the common things they kept hearing was about this miracle grass that people would consume in a tea form. So they eventually started doing research on it, and it's a very sweet tasting herb. And the actual research that started to show the significant benefits came from looking into the herb as an alternative sweetener. It has kind of a stevia-like taste, if anyone's used that before. So it makes a very clear tea. Again, it looks a lot like green tea and has that sweet stevia flavor. It's very great on its own. It does have a bitter aftertaste, kind of like stevia, and it is very similar to green tea in that regard as well. But it's nothing that pronounced. It's just an overall green taste with a bit of sweetness in there, so it's perfect on its own. Can be made as a base to drinks, as I've actually done in the past, and I also do with a lot of other teas. It's very easy to make it a daily drink, and that's the best way to use it because it is so wide-ranging in its overall tonic effects. So the name, first of all, Gynostemma, that's the Latin name, Gynostemma, Pentaphyllum, is, you have that prefix, gyno, which you might know from words like gynecology, means female. So it's often traditionally thought of as a very great female tonic, but it's great for all people of all ages. There's no chance of overdosing on it. It's purely an adaptogen, a tonic herb, and you can consume it all day. You could drink it instead of water, and you're not going to have any negative side effects from it. It's got a bit of a cooling quality. Well, some of the top factors that are found in ginseng, which are called saponins, there's a lot of different types of them. There's around 36 of them found in ginseng, sometimes more, sometimes less, depending on the exact species of ginseng and where it's grown, etc. But of all those saponins, 8 of them are found in Gynostemma. Plus there's a whole host more. There's actually up to 88 different saponins, or in this case they're called gynostides, and there's that many found in Gynostemma. So 36 compared to 88, that's quite a big difference. It's more than double the amount of these tonic qualities that make it an adaptogen. These are also some of the same ones found in astragalus, and all of these herbs are great. Of course, there's going to be different benefits from ginseng than what you get from Gynostemma, but overall, if we were to put all these different tonic herbs on a scale of all of their different beneficial qualities stacked up against each other, in my opinion, Gynostemma would come in at number 1 just because of its wide-ranging ability to address multiple things. So again, I'm not saying it's better than other tonic herbs. I'm talking about it's better if you were to consider it being the jack of all trades in terms of a tonic herb. If you look at ginseng, it's very specific to building qi and giving you energy and regulating those systems that are related to that. If you look at astragalus, it's very good for regulating the immune system and other functions around that, and lung yang energy. Whereas Gynostemma is very much a whole body tonic. So it's known to be specific in terms of balancing all 5 organ systems, the heart, and when they talk about organ systems, it's multiple organs within each system. So the heart with a capital H, liver, stomach, lung, and kidney. Those all make up basically all the organs of the body. In each group there's multiple organs. If you're not familiar with that system, don't just take it as being just those organs, because it does include multiple organs that tend to work together. So the way in which Gynostemma, oh, and by the way, it's also a 3-treasure tonic herb, so it works on all 3 treasures, Jing, Qi, and Shen. So the way it works on each organ system, if we're talking again about the 5-element Chinese theory of medicine and of health, in the heart realm, it's going to be working on circulation. It's also good at blood oxygenation, as well as lowering and regulating blood pressure. If we look at the lungs, a component of blood oxygenation could be said to be part of its ability to tonify the lungs, but it will also open the lungs up, help clear them in a subtle way. Then you have its hepatoprotective qualities, so that's the liver. It protects the liver and is not detoxifying to the liver, at least not to any great degree that I understand it. Then you have its digestive beneficial properties, which are quite abundant in it. It can help protect the lining of the stomach. It can help improve digestion further down the digestive tract. And finally, you have its kidney balancing properties for balancing stress hormones, and the adrenal glands, which sit on top of the kidneys, are considered part of the kidney organ system. So its ability to regulate, the hormones of stress is profound, and one of the major benefits of it for sure. There's also 2 other major anti-aging properties to it that you could say fall into the kidney category, because their kidneys are often associated with longevity and being able to live a long life. And so if you have a really good, strong kidney energy and kidney functioning of the entire kidney organ system, you're going to have a long and healthy life. So the fact that it improves the production of superoxide dismutase, you might have heard me talk about that in past videos. It's a well-known antioxidant. Our body makes it. You could call it the king of antioxidants. It's basically your last line of defense against free radicals damaging your genetic structure at the genetic level. So it's actually one of the few antioxidants that exists inside the cells, whereas most exist outside of the cell to prevent cells being damaged on the outside. But this is actually something that's inside our cells that, again, is that last line of defense against superoxide, which is a very potent free radical that our bodies come up against daily just through our body's own production of it, through chemical reactions and such. And then superoxide dismutase is the response to that. There's been studies on rats where they've altered them to not produce as much or even close to no SOD, superoxide dismutase, and they die in a very short period of time. They can barely live a few days. And interestingly, SOD is something that a lot of major tonic herbs help our bodies produce. Another famous one would be Hu Shu Wu, which is part of the reason why I'm so gung-ho about taking that every day or as much as possible, is its SOD boosting capabilities. And lastly, one other anti-aging property that it has is the gynostemma XLIX, which helps counteract the nuclear factor kappa B, which again is another thing our body produces that really hammers home against the health of our cells. It's a very popular research topic in the world of anti-aging medicine. So what nuclear factor kappa B does is it is a root factor in the cause of inflammation throughout our body. So obviously if you can inhibit that, you're going to have less inflammation and live a longer life, because inflammation, excessive amounts of it, obviously it has a specific effect. If you have an injury, you need inflammation to bring blood to that area. It's not inhibiting that, it's inhibiting the latent inflammation people build up and have in their life and in their bodies from just daily living. And over time it increases. So by suppressing that production of that specific chemical, we can definitely live longer. That's going to be one of the most groundbreaking parts of the future of anti-aging medicine, and I'll be talking about that specific function at a future time in another video about the causes of aging, because it's definitely one of the very root causes of one aspect of aging. So if you haven't had the opportunity to use Gynostemma, or you want a really good source of it, I'd highly recommend trying out Hyperion Herbs' Gynostemma. That's what I was just drinking earlier. I finished it actually already, the tea that I had there. I just made 2 cups of it right there. It's really easy. It's like making green tea. For $25 you get a big bag like this. It will last a long time. And if you wanted to purchase multiple bags because you plan on using it multiple times per day, then by all means you can actually get savings on that, 15 to 20% off, if you check out the links below where you can go through and purchase through that. It is easy to make. You simply just boil water, and something that most people don't realize with basically all teas, but more specifically green tea or any green leaf tea, is you do not want to boil water and pour it onto herbs immediately. You want to have it around that 93 Fahrenheit temperature, which is essentially if you boiled something, you turn the stove off and you leave it for 2 to 3 minutes on the stove. If you take it right off the element, then only leave it for a minute, but if you have the element still under it, you know water kind of boils for a few minutes, or up to a minute after that. So you let things cool off 2 to 3 minutes, and then I add 1 to 2 tablespoons of the herb to about a liter of water, and you let that steep for as long as you want until it cools down, or at least 10 minutes. And that's the ideal way to make green leaf teas. It's an infusion, and you let it sit even overnight, and you have an extremely strong tea, and drink that liter or so of water of tea over the next day in 2-3 portions. And the idea of taking herbs also throughout the day is important, because then you're continually getting a dosage into your bloodstream, so your body's getting the medicinal effects spread out over the day as opposed to one big chunk of it all at once. That's why a lot of herbs on a bottle, if you're taking an extract, will say like, take 2 capsules 3 times a day. So I want to know if you've ever tried Gynostemma before, just the straight tea, and what you think of it. What do you think of the flavor? Some people might not like the flavor just because it has that slight bitter tone to it, but if you like green tea, if you like any kind of green herbal tea, it's really pretty mild when it comes to teas. It's got that nice sweet aspect to it as well that means you don't have to add anything to it to sweeten it up if you like things sweet. And yeah, it's incredibly powerful. If you had the option of taking any one tea daily for your entire life, that's going to be the one that I'd recommend for anyone, just because it's also so easy for anyone to take without having to go through any specific testing on the body to know what it is they need. Definitely far surpasses things like green tea or white tea or these other teas that get promoted for having their health benefits. In the mainstream I'm talking about, I think this will become the next big thing once it really catches on, and it's so abundant and cheap compared to, you know, trying to drink reishi tea every day. I'm by no means knocking reishi. Drink all the reishi you want, or drink all the ginseng tea you want, but in terms of cost, it's way less, just because it's such an abundant, easy to grow plant for the areas of the world that grow it. So with that, remember to check the links below, and I'll talk to you next time. Take care and embrace life without limits.